His name was Ethan. We matched on this Discord group for incoming freshmen at State. Same dorm, same major, both from boring Midwest suburbs. He sent the first message. Hey, saw you're in Tower C too. You look like someone who actually reads the syllabus. Want to be study buddies? Corny, but cute. We talked non-stop for the last 2 months of summer. He sent me playlists, memes, voice notes that made me laugh so hard that my mom asked what was wrong with me. He told me that he had never felt this kind of connection with anyone before college even started. I believed him. I was 18. I wanted to believe him. Then, one random Tuesday in August, he asked the question. A quick cue. Have you ever thought about cutting your hair short? Like, really short? No, why? Oh, you have such a pretty face. It would look insane. Like pixie cut vibes. You'd be so hot. I love my hair long, though. It's finally long enough after like 4 years. Yeah, but think about it. You'd look edgier, more mature. I'll think about it. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Every day there was a new message, a new angle. Saw this girl on TikTok with your coloring in a super short cut and immediately thought of you. Then a photo of me with a trimmed head badly photoshopped on. Okay, but donating your hair is literally the most selfless thing you could do. I found a salon near campus that does it for free if you donate. I already called. You're not one of those girls who thinks that long hair equals femininity, right? That's kind of toxic. I'm just being honest. I have a really strong preference, and I don't want to start something if it's going to be an issue. I started gray rocking him. Not cutting it. Already told you no. Please drop it. He didn't drop it. He doubled down. Tripled down. He sent me a 12-paragraph essay about how hair grows back, and clinging to it was vain, actually, and borderline narcissistic. He linked articles. He found my high school Instagram and commented 2 fire emojis on every photo where my hair was down, and then DM'd me being like, see? It's your best feature, but imagine if it wasn't holding you back. By the time that move-in day came, I was exhausted. But he kept saying he was sorry, that he'd stop, that he just got carried away because he already cared about me so much. I wanted college to be different. I wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt. So, I agreed to meet him at the coffee shop in the student union the first Thursday of classes. He looked exactly like his pictures. But the second that he sat down, he was off. Shoulders hunched, answering everything in grunts. Hey, you okay? I asked. Yeah, fine. Did you find your classes all right? Mm-hmm. Cool. I got lost twice already. This campus is huge. Whatever. 20 minutes of that. I kept trying. Smiled too big. Talked too loud. Ordered him a second latte that he didn't ask for. Nothing. Finally, I gave up. Okay, I'm gonna head out. This clearly isn't. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. Really nervous. I've never felt this way about anyone, and meeting you in person is messing with my head. Can we try again? Please? He looked like he might cry. I felt bad. God, I felt so bad. One more chance. Saturday? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Then he reached across the table, slow, like I was a spooked horse. Can I just touch your hair? Just once? No, Ethan. Come on, it's so pretty. I said no. His face changed. Not angry. Worse. Disappointed. Like I'd ruined Christmas. Damn. I was really hoping you'd let me touch it so I could cut it off really fast. I even brought scissors just in case. He unzipped the front pocket of his backpack and pulled out actual hair shears. The kind stylists use. Long, sharp, silver. He held them up between us like it was normal. I laughed at first. He didn't laugh back. It'll only take a second. You won't even feel it if I do it right. I stood up so fast my chair screeched. Put those away. I'm serious. Just let me. Are you insane? He stood too, taking a step toward me, scissors open. I backed up, knocking into a table. Coffee cups rattled. Stay the hell away from me! I turned and speed walked out of the coffee shop, heart hammering so hard I thought I'd throw up. He followed me into the lobby. Wait, you're overreacting. Come closer and I'll scream. The elevator was taking forever. I bolted for the stairs instead, taking them 2 at a time up to the 4th floor. I didn't stop until I was in my dorm room with the door locked. My roommate Jess wasn't back yet. I sat on my bed shaking, staring at my phone as it buzzed and buzzed. You're being dramatic. It was a joke. Calm down. I can't believe you just left me standing there. Answer me. You owe me an explanation. Then, an hour later, the email. Subject line, I'm disappointed in you. I won't quote the whole thing. It was 800 words of calling me selfish, shallow, cruel for, quote-unquote, leading him on, when I knew how much my hair, quote-unquote, triggered him. He said he'd never been able to get super attracted to girls with long hair, and that made it my fault somehow. He said that he was sorry, but he deserved someone who cared about his needs more than some dead cells. He ended it with, enjoy being alone with your precious hair. I blocked him everywhere. For weeks, I jumped every time I saw a guy in a black hoodie. I started wearing my hair in a bun so that it wasn't visible from behind. I stopped walking alone after dark. And then, one night, Jess came back from a party laughing so hard that she could barely talk. Oh my God, you will not believe this. That creepy guy from the 4th floor, Ethan? Please don't say his name, I said. He's going door to door offering free haircuts. Like, hey, I'm really good with scissors. I can save you $60. Multiple girls took him up on it. Tell me you're joking. I wish. His roommate is in my chemistry lab and says Ethan keeps all of the cut hair in a shoebox under his bed. Like Ziplocs labeled with girls' names. I threw up in our trash can. But, gladly, Ethan never bothered me again.
In the humid haze of a Chicago summer, David Kessler's life revolved around one direction with a fervor that bordered on mania. His apartment in Logan Square had walls plastered with posters of Harry, Liam, Neil, Lewis, and Zane. Shelves groaning under the weight of vinyls, signed merch, and bootleg concert DVDs. He wore band tees so faded they were nearly transparent, ate only the pizza and Skittles the band had once endorsed in interviews, and mimicked their accents in casual conversation, much to the annoyance of his coworkers at the coffee shop. At 27, David had no identity outside the band. One Direction wasn't just music, it was his religion. On a sticky July night in 2023, David stumbled into the Velvet Room, a bar known for its open mic nights. A woman named Mia Delgado took the stage, her dark curls bouncing as she gripped the microphone. Mia launched into a shaking rendition of What Makes You Beautiful. Her voice cracked in the high notes, and she fumbled the lyrics, giggling through her mistakes. The crowd clapped politely, but David's face twisted in disgust. To him, this was blasphemy. That was an insult. She's butchering it. He muttered to no one, his hands clenched into fists. Mia, oblivious, finished her set and stepped off the stage. David watched her. He didn't approach her that night, but her face burned into his mind. Over the next few days, David's fixation grew. He found Mia's Instagram, scrolling through photos of her at karaoke nights, laughing with friends, or posing at Lake Michigan. He learned her routines: morning jogs in Humboldt Park, shifts at a law firm downtown, drinks at the Velvet Room on Fridays. He started following her, always at a distance, his hoodie pulled low. Mia never noticed the shadow trailing her through the city. One humid evening, As Mia walked home from the L train, David made his move. He'd rented a van, claiming it was for a work errand. As Mia passed an alley, he grabbed her, his hand clamping over her mouth. She thrashed, her nails raking his arm, but he was stronger. He shoved her into the van, zip-tied her wrists, and drove to an abandoned warehouse in Pilsen, a place he'd scouted weeks earlier. Inside, he locked Mia in a windowless room. "You disrespected them. You don't get to sing their songs like that." Mia, her knees bruised from the struggle, glared up at him.
"What the hell are you talking about? Let me go, you psycho!"
David ignored her, leaving her in darkness. For days, he withheld food, giving her only sips of water. Mia's body weakened, her stomach gnawing itself, but her mind stayed sharp, fueled by anger. She memorized the sounds outside, the hum of a distant traffic, the creak of the warehouse door. She vowed to survive. On the 5th day, David returned, dragging a speaker into the room. "You need to understand. You need to feel them like I do." He blasted One Direction's entire discography at a volume that rattled the walls. The bass thumped through Mia's chest, the treble piercing her skull. She screamed, her voice lost in the cacophony, her ears ringing with pain. For hours it went on. Harry's solos, Neil's guitar riffs, Lewis's high notes, until Mia's head throbbed and her vision blurred. She curled into a ball, sobbing, her body shaking from hunger and exhaustion.
"Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect them. I'll never sing their songs again. I promise. Just please let me go."
David stared at her, his face softening. "You get it now. You see how perfect they are." He untied her, drove her to a deserted street, and let her stumble out of the van. Mia collapsed on the sidewalk, her body frail but her mind alight with fury. She didn't go to the police. Fear and shame kept her silent, but she wasn't done. Mia spent weeks recovering. She'd always been resourceful, a woman who clawed her way through a tough childhood in Pilsen. She wasn't about to let some fanboy break her. She started digging. Using her paralegal skills, she tracked David through public records, finding his address and workplace. She staked him out, blending into the coffee shop crowd, watching him steam milk and rant about One Direction to bored customers. She hacked his social media, uncovering his obsessive posts. She found that he used to stalk other women who disrespected the band. Mia realized she wasn't his first victim, just the first to escape. She'd ruined David, but not with fists or guns. She'd used his obsession against him. She enlisted her friend Carla, a bartender at the Velvet Room with a knack for flirting her way into secrets. Carla cozied up to David at the coffee shop, her smile disarming.
"Hey, you're into One Direction, right?"
Carla purred one day, leaning over the counter.
"I heard there's this secret fan event downtown. Super exclusive. You in?"
David's eyes lit up.
"Seriously? Where?" "Private venue. I can get you the address, but it's hush-hush. You gotta keep quiet."
He nodded eagerly, oblivious to the trap. Carla texted him a location, an abandoned loft in the West Loop, rented under a fake name. Mia had set the stage, dim lights, One Direction posters, and a sound system that rigged to play a single track on loop. She'd also hired a crew, 2 women from her old neighborhood, tough and loyal, who'd do anything for a cut of the cash she'd saved. On the night of the event, David arrived, his One Direction tee glowing under the loft's black lights. The room was empty, except for a single chair and a speaker. He frowned, confused. "Carla, you here?" The door slammed shut, and Mia stepped from the shadows. David froze, recognition dawning. "You," he whispered. "Yeah, me. Sit down, David." He tried to run, but her crew emerged, Luz with a baseball bat, Rosa with a knife and a taser. They forced him into the chair, zip-tying his wrists. Mia leaned close, her breath hot on his face. "You thought you could break me? You're gonna learn what that feels like." She hit play, and Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero blared at deafening volume. the same torturous level he'd used on her. David squirmed, his face contorting as the music assaulted his ears. Mia watched, her heart racing with a mix of vengeance and thrill. She let it play for an hour, his pleas drowned out, before stopping the music. Feel familiar? That's just the start. Over the next few hours, Mia's crew toyed with him. Luz dangled her bat near his knees. Rosa traced her knife along his arm, never breaking skin but close enough to make him sweat. Big tough fanboy, huh? Scared now? Mia didn't touch him. She didn't need to. Her presence was enough, her gaze ablaze. David felt the same helplessness she had, but she wasn't like him. She wouldn't kill or maim. She wanted him to live with the fear. Finally, she knelt in front of him, her face inches from his. Here's how this goes. You're gonna leave Chicago, disappear. If I ever see you again or hear about you stalking anyone else, I'll find you. And next time I won't be so nice. David nodded frantically, tears streaming down his face. I swear I'll go. I'm sorry, Mia. I'm so sorry. She cut his ties, and her crew shoved him toward the door. Run, Mia said. He did, vanishing into the night.
I'm Eliana, freshly divorced and desperate for a break from the endless cycle of client deadlines. My friends back home kept saying, go somewhere quiet, treat yourself. So I booked a week at this charming little boutique hotel in Sedona, Arizona. Red rocks, vortex tours, the whole spiritual healing vibe. It was supposed to be my reset button. Now, the first few days were bliss. I arrived on a Monday, checked into room 212, a cozy corner suite with a balcony overlooking the desert. The staff was friendly, the pool was heated, and I even splurged on a spa day. I'd sip margaritas at sunset, journal about letting go of my ex, and fall asleep to the sound of coyotes in the distance. Everything felt okay, normal, safe. But on the third night, or maybe it was the fourth, it began. I was dead asleep, and then out of nowhere, this rattling, jiggling, like someone was yanking on the door handle, twisting it back and forth, erratic and violent. My heart slammed into my throat. I bolted upright in bed, sheets tangled around my legs, staring at the door. The handle kept moving, up, down, side to side, like a frantic animal trying to claw its way in. Who's there? I yelled. Nothing. No answer. I grabbed my phone. 2:17 a.m. and flicked on the lamp. The movement stopped. Instantly. Like whoever it was heard me wake up and vanished. I sat there, frozen, listening. Footsteps? Maybe faint ones fading down the carpeted hallway. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Kept the lights on. Door triple-checked. Morning came and I marched down to the front desk. The manager, named Victor, with a fake tan and a name tag that screamed, I've seen it all, smiled too wide. Ma'am, how can I help? There was someone trying to break into my room last night, door handle going crazy. It stopped when I woke up, but this isn't okay. I need security or a room change. Victor's smile faltered. He glanced around and then leaned in closer. Look, Ms. Thompson, Eliana, right? I'm sorry about that. It's not a break-in. We've got a guest here, Mr. Harrington. He was recently released from a facility up in Phoenix. Mental health thing. Schizophrenia, I think. He sleepwalks, doesn't take his meds regularly. Thinks that he's still locked in his room at the Institute. Tries doors. Kicks them sometimes. Harmless, mostly. Harmless? Harmless? He was trying to kick my door down. I'm alone here. What if he gets in? Victor sighed, rubbing his temples. His family's loaded. Old money. Connections everywhere. Politicians. Investors.
They booked the whole top floor for him and his caretakers. If I kick up a fuss, they'll bury this place. Bad reviews, lawsuits, you name it. We're a small hotel. Just keep your chain on. Call if it happens again. I'll have security patrol more. You're seriously telling me to just deal with it because he's rich? It's temporary. He'll be gone in a few days. Please, Eliana, for the hotel. Here, these are complimentary $100 coupons for you. I'll throw in one extra night for free as well. I walked away fuming, but not too disappointed. I mean, I just got a free night and the coupons. I texted my best friend Lisa back home. This place is a joke. Some psycho trying doors at night. Manager won't do shit. She replied with a string of shocked emojis and, "Get out now." The next night, same thing. 3:05 a.m. "Stop it!" I screamed, phone in hand, ready to dial 911. It ceased the second my voice echoed. I called the front desk anyway. "It's happening again!" I hissed into the receiver. A tired voice. "Security's on it, ma'am. Mr. Harrington's back in his room." By the fifth night, I was a wreck. Barely slept. Eyes bloodshot. Jumping at every creak. Exhausted, I passed out at around midnight, dreaming of red rocks crumbling. Then, click. The door opened. Slowly. I woke to the sound of it swinging open, cool night air rushing in. A figure stumbled inside, silhouetted against the hallway light. He didn't see me at first, just shuffled in, eyes glassy, muttering to himself. I froze under the covers, heart pounding so hard that I thought it'd burst. "Get out!" I whispered, but my voice was a squeak. He stopped, turned, and then, oh my God. I scrambled back against the headboard, grabbing the lamp like a weapon. "What the hell are you doing? Get out! Security!" He didn't stop, just kept going. Eyes locked on me now, a creepy smile cracking his face. "Help! Someone, help!" But the walls were thick, the hotel half empty this time of year. Then he leaned over the bed, breath on my ear. "Yeah, I'm just pretending to be not okay." Laughter bubbled out of him, low and mocking as he backed away, hands up like it was all a joke. He slipped out the door, pulling it shut behind him. I sat there, hyperventilating, tears streaming, the room spinning. Was he faking? The sleepwalking? The meds? All of it? Or was that the delusion talking? I didn't wait for morning. Threw my shit into the suitcase, clothes half folded, makeup scattered, called an Uber at 4 a.m., left a scathing voicemail for Victor. You knew, and you did nothing. I'm reporting this place to everyone. Health department, BBB, the cops." I did. Police in Sedona took my statement, but Victor lawyered up fast. "Mr. Harrington has a history," they said. "Families claiming episode, no priors for this." The hotel comped my stay, big whoop, and promised improvements. I posted anonymously on travel sites, warned women especially. Solo female? Avoid at all costs. To any woman watching or listening to this, trust your gut. If something feels off, get out. Your safety's not negotiable, no matter how connected the creep is. I learned that the hard way. I still can't believe I'm sharing this with you all, but if I don't get out of my head, it's gonna eat me alive. Thanks to Mr. Broccoli for providing me a platform to share my story. My name is Lauren. I'm 27, And last October, I blew my entire tax refund on the digital nomad cruise because every influencer that I followed swore that it was the best place to manifest your dream remote life and maybe a hot boyfriend while you're at it. Yeah, that was the sales pitch I swallowed. 10 days at sea, workshops on SEO and AI, sunset yoga, and, apparently, an endless supply of tanned guys with MacBooks and trust funds. I wanted connection. I wanted someone to look at me the way Timothée Chalamet looks at Zendaya in those red carpet photos. Was that too much to ask? I got assigned the cheapest inside cabin on deck 2. Basically a windowless coffin that smelled faintly of disinfectant and old carpet. The girl at check-in shrugged when I asked about an upgrade. Fully booked, sweetie. Next time, book earlier. Fine. I told myself I'd only be sleeping there anyway. The first few days were exactly what I'd paid for. Aperol spritzes at the pool deck, flirting with a Dutch guy named Don who kept calling me Skatja, and said he could get me press trips to Bali, a Canadian crypto bro who offered to show me his ledger, and a ridiculously cute British copywriter called Ollie, who quoted Sylvia Plath between shots of tequila. I was in heaven. I even posted a pic with the caption, "Manifesting offshore assets," wink emoji, and got 842 likes. Life was good. Then, night 2 happened. I had gone to bed early because Ollie had ghosted the after party. Turns out that he had a girlfriend in London. Classic. And I was sulking with a half-empty bottle of duty-free rosé. The room was pitch black, the way that only inside cabins can be. Like someone had poured ink over your eyeballs. I remember scrolling YouTube until my phone died and then passing out. I woke up at 2:13 a.m. with that heart-pounding certainty that I was not alone. There was a shape at the foot of my bed. Tall, at least 6'4", male proportions, broad shoulders, but no details. Just a deeper black cut out of the black, like someone had taken scissors to reality. It didn't move, it just stood. I couldn't breathe. I swear that the temperature dropped 20 degrees. My skin prickled so hard it hurt. I tried to scream, but it came out a squeak. And the second that any noise left my throat, the thing blinked out. Not faded, not walked away, blinked out. Like someone hit the off switch on a TV. I slept with the bathroom light on after that, curled into a ball, clutching the rosé bottle like a weapon until morning. At breakfast, I looked like hell. My new friend Jess, a travel vlogger from Seattle, noticed immediately. "Girl, you okay? You look like you saw the Titanic ghost." I laughed too loud. Something like that. I tracked down my cabin steward, Mario, a sweet Filipino guy who always called me Ma'am Lauren and left towel swans on my bed. "Mario, can I ask you something weird?" I said while he fluffed pillows in the hallway. "Of course, ma'am." "Last night, around 2 a.m., did anything serious happen on this deck?" His face changed. His smile dropped so fast it was like I'd slapped him. "Why, you ask?" "I think I saw something in my room. A shadow, a man, and then it was gone." He glanced both ways down the corridor and then leaned in. "Ma'am Lauren, please don't tell anyone I said this, okay? Night before last, a passenger, older gentleman from Texas, he had heart attack in the casino. They bring him to medical bay." He pointed at the wall behind my headboard. "Right there. They try CPR, everything, but he passed at 2:07 a.m. They keep body there until morning when a helicopter can come." My stomach flipped. "You're telling me that a dead guy was on the other side of that wall while I was sleeping?" Mario crossed himself. "I shouldn't have. Please, no, report me." "I won't, but Mario, do they ever, wander?" He just gave me this sad little shrug that said more than words. I spent the rest of the day jumpy, chugging oat milk lattes and pretending to listen to a talk on monetizing your personal brand. Jess dragged me to the meditation session, cleanse the energy, but it didn't help. That night, I begged the purser for a new cabin. They offered me an upgrade for $1,800. I laughed in her face and cried at the same time. She finally found a cancellation on Deck 7, Ocean View, for only $900 extra. I paid it. I moved all my stuff at 11 p.m. like a fugitive. The new room smelled great. I took the longest shower of my life, put on the cute silk pajama set that I had bought specifically to be seen leaving someone else's cabin, and fell asleep to the sound of real waves. I wish that was the end of it. At 2:07 a.m. exactly, my new phone, fully charged this time, lit up with the alarm that I swear I never set. The label just said, Lauren. The room was cold again. Not AC cold, grave cold. He was already there, standing by the balcony door, silhouetted against the moonlight on the water. Same height, same nothing face. But this time, he moved one slow step toward the bed. Doors open, people shouted. By the time that security got there, the room was empty, and I was shaking so hard I couldn't stand. They moved me to a suite on Deck 10, comped, with a butler who literally camped outside my door the rest of the cruise. I barely left except for meals. Jess brought me wine and held my hand while I ugly cried about how I just wanted to fall in love, and instead, I got haunted by a dead Texan.
I stared into his eyes, and I found them honest. But for some reason which I couldn't readily place, I couldn't bring myself to think too much about what Nathan said without feeling as though he was exaggerating the effect of the new atmosphere on me. This place, he mentioned it when he looked around, a cigarette dangling from his fingers. He continued in a low voice. It's not what it seems to be. There had been no eeriness in his statement. It had simply been a statement, like one would casually say as a salutation to a neighbor. Nathan was handsome by most definitions of what a good-looking man would be, and he was one of the first people I spoke to when I recently moved into my new home. The suburban estate was quiet, a world away from the bustle of the city where I had spent most of my adult life with my ex-husband. A messy divorce, a noisy city that penetrated my senses, and a stalking, violent ex-husband made this new house a home for me. I mentioned the issue to Nathan once in our conversation, but I was sure that he hadn't enough presence of mind to measure what I really meant by everything. The Lassards, my neighbors, from a few houses down the same row, visited a few weeks after I had settled in. Unlike Nathan, they seemed more cheerful about the place, both bespectacled with such supple facial skin that did not betray their age. I discovered the Lassards to be very fond of humor. When one spoke, the other always seemed to have an accompanying laughter for it. And to avoid an awkward confrontation, I soon found myself laughing at everything that was said by them either. By the end of their second visit to my home, a stop by and a walk, I was told by the couple that they were part of the neighborhood watch. They were part of the families that had moved into the area when it was very sparse, and they said that a lot had changed when they first moved in. It's become a very busy place since we moved here, Ava. People have moved into the neighborhood and some have left, Miss Lassard said to me, and I chuckled when Mr. Lassard did, even though I thought it was weird that she had said it like that. But you're safe here, Ava. Mr. Lassard nodded his head to punctuate what his wife had been saying. If you need anything, you can come to us and we'll help. I found myself at peace in the new neighborhood, regardless of what Nathan or the Lassards had said, and I was determined to keep it that way. Weeks rolled by slowly, and I became better with the quietness in the mornings and the strange stillness of the air at noon. At dusk, I would walk around to take in the atmosphere of my new neighborhood. I did this walk habitually until I noticed something weird under very strange circumstances. Most of the houses in the neighborhood were numbered like I had expected them to be, but under their numberings, I noticed symbols which I couldn't readily identify. For the houses that had those symbols, I never saw anyone come in or out of them. I talked to Nathan about it without stressing how uncomfortable it made me, and he smiled with his eyes dead on me and told me that he said all that he could say. The neighborhood had strange things happened every other time, and the news of it never made it out. I asked what it was that he had seen. Nathan took a long drag of his cigarette and smiled. Perhaps he said it was the neighborhood watch who had put those symbols under the numbers of those houses, which occupants did not comply with their regulations. With that, I was dismissed, but I did not leave without a sense of caution that there was something Nathan was hiding. My nightmares translated to reality quickly when my cat went missing by the end of the same week that I had expressed my fears to Nathan. My first instinct was anger. I had a sense that I was being messed with, so I rushed to Nathan's house, which was just by mine. "Open up, you sick freak!" I yelled at the door in anger that he had taken my cat to play games with me. My anger waned and frustration kicked in when I knocked repeatedly, but there was no response to my call. Exhaustion induced common sense, and I returned to my house to search for the tracker which I had put on my cat. I broke out sweating when I found my cat's location was further down the street, away from Nathan's house. I wondered if it had simply strayed, and I took it upon myself to go look for it. My heart pounded in my chest, and my entire body trembled as I braved the night in search of my cat, guided by the tracker. Dread and apprehension from whatever the black, quiet night held terrified me. I watched over my shoulder every step of the way until I finally arrived at the Lessard shed. The elderly couple's offering of help rang in my head, and I debated within myself briefly if it was appropriate that I walk up to the shed and pick up my cat, or if I should just ask their permission. My sense of urgency got the better of me, and I stumbled into the shed myself. Every assurance that I had mustered when I walked into the open fell off me like layers of an onion bulb, and a cold sweat tingled from my spine when the unmistakable smell of blood hit my nostrils. I ran my hand over my mouth to stifle my cry of shock as my eyes roamed over disturbing materials lying around the floor with no care. I was sure my beating heart could be heard all around the neighborhood because it was almost deafening my ears. My limbs shook as I scoured over bloodied surgical tools which laid on the table, supported by a bucket that seemed to contain something macabre. On the wall, I saw a blueprint of the neighborhood with the same symbols I had seen earlier. The markings under them were non-compliant. I didn't have the stomach to look at it, as the idea of such mindless violence of what happened to them is terrorizing me. My legs took cue, and just as I turned to leave, the door shut behind me. "We knew you would come. You have been non-compliant," Mrs. Lessard said with a wry smile on her face. Mr. Lessard appeared out of the shadows at this time. He didn't laugh at what was being said. "Please," I pleaded, tears running loose from my eyes. "They'll never find your body," Mr. Lessard assured me. There was nowhere to run, and the evil couple was blocking my means of escape, and in my mind, I prayed for a quick death, even though I suspected their sick minds would not allow them to pass up the chance to torture me. I fell to my knees in defeat, when all of a sudden, the door banged open, and Nathan was there, with a gun in hand. "Nobody move. The cops are on their way. I didn't call an ambulance for the dead bodies," he said. "Oh, thank you, Nathan. This lady burgled her way into our garden and tried to steal from us," Mrs. Lessard lied, feigning hurt as she approached Nathan. Nathan had the good sense to turn the gun on her with a menacing look on his face that he would not hesitate to shoot. "I know what you are, and I'll testify to your crimes. Ava, come over here," he said to me, and I never ran so fast towards a person as I ran to Nathan. The police arrived in no time to arrest the Lessards, and the evidence of all the murders they had committed in the neighborhood came to light when their house was searched. I asked Nathan how he knew to come save me. He said that he followed me after I knocked on his door and knew what the Lassards were capable of. But all he needed was proof of it.